So we will take commission of judges. With your permission, shall we start? Thank you. So the first team is Chaitanya team. So we can couple, they can present their views.
Good morning, Marina, present here. Respected judges, juries, and all the members present here. My name is Chaitanya, and supposedly along with this study on my on GSP and most people. Today, we are going to present our topic on traditional knowledge of Maharashtra, Goa, and the Mahanadi. So, India is not just a country. It is a library of tradition. Every forest uses a remedy, coastline uses about the legacy, and every community carries the different types of uh, engagement knowledge, traditional knowledge of generation and generational knowledge. So we propose an application where all the traditional knowledge will be applicable and will be used at one place for researchers, educators, as well as for the normal people. So we propose an application which will involve the addition to applications as well as the implementation of traditional knowledge in one platform. In the three regions, Maharashtra, Goa, and Diu. There is a loss of biodiversity as we can still see later in life. that the biodiversity is endangered due to different types of factors such as global warming and set of other different types of activities. So, in order to preserve, there are a lot of new technologies that have been emerged in India, outside internationally, and nationally as well. But what was the remedies that were used traditionally earlier before when there was no new technologies? So that's what our application do. It identifies different types of traditional knowledge, it records, it preserves, and it makes the use of it for different types of researchers, zoologists, biologists, and all the common people as well, and not limited to the one people. Basically, why our conservation, even having the new technologies fails, is due to these four reasons, as I have researched about it. The first is documentation crisis, where the traditional knowledge about different types of things have not yet been documented totally. Where we are using the new technologies, but even we have a traditional knowledge that can definitely preserve or conserve the biodiversity around us. That is the primary reason I would say. Second is engagement crisis, where the uh, engagement of people in the biodiversity conservation or using the traditional knowledge in our day-to-day life after generation to generation is less due to the engagement crisis. Because the engagement of the community is getting lesser and lesser each and every day. Next is the economic crisis. As you can see, the Warli paintings, for example, they are not even getting paid properly for their Warli paintings because the lack of knowledge about the Warli paintings across the community or across the youth nowadays. That is the economic crisis that are being faced by the community and which is directly affecting the traditional knowledge as well. Next is a policy crisis where national biodiversity actions that this traditional knowledge is underutilized. So underutilization of a traditional knowledge in today's world, today's generation is also another reason for that. Solution that we acquired from all our problems and objectives is to create a platform targeting all the generations, youths, and all the people around us, not just targeting one people. A platform where traditional knowledge is not just stored as archived as encyclopedias and all, but also utilized for the beneficiary of both the people who are having the knowledge, also who wants to grab the knowledge. So this is our project. This is our initiative where we are proposing the application, a platform where all the traditional knowledge is stored and used as well by the researchers, normal people, and all the other beneficiaries. So this is our application. This is a prototype of our application, the Prakriti Imagine, where all the information about the traditional knowledge and the information that will be stored and that will be used for acknowledging the different types of traditional knowledge is here. So what we are doing with this application is we have four scientific pillars of this conservation and the use of this application. Primary is AI guardian model, where we are using the Gemini and different types of AI models of Google and all, which will help us to identify different types of traditional knowledge and helps to preserve and record on this application. This we are using this AI where different types of data from traditional knowledge from the people of different communities will be stored and will be used further. This AI will store the data in different languages, targeting the Maharashtra, Goa, Daman and Diu. So it will be user friendly for the people of different regions as well. So it will help to store the traditional knowledge in different language and can be accessible by the people who in whichever language they are identifiable. The next is scan and identify feature, where if the people are visiting any places, historical places, or be it any traditional places, if we want to identify or know what type of tradition or traditional knowledge it is, they can just scan and identify what exactly it is. For example, the turmeric or the use of medicinal plants for the different medicinal purposes. They can just scan in that medicinal plant or the medicinal what is that remedy they are using there, and they can get the knowledge about it. They can store that knowledge on this application and they can make it used for others as well. That is another feature. biodiversity treasure one. It is area where we are using it for the adventurous people or the youth particularly, where they can identify the different types of hotspot of traditional knowledge or the places where the traditional places nearby them, so that they can uh, uh, be engaged in preserving, understanding, and sharing the knowledge about the traditional knowledge. So that's how the biodiversity treasure hunt works. The next is conservation bills. As we all know, the youth today is spending more time storing the reels than reading the books. So targeting that, we are planning to implement the conservation bills, which will be totally about the traditional knowledge, preservation, conservation, how it is helpful, how it can be transferred to the next generation. So that is why, in order to grab the attention of the youth, they have planned the conservation bills on this application. So this application, it will be totally peer reviewed. The knowledge, the information that we are going to feed this will be peer reviewed by the fixed panel, and will pick information within 24 hours. Also, we are using the different types of traditional practices and validations will be given, and the references will be taken for the identification of the true and false information which will be provided in this application as well. So the data will be validated by the peer reviews, and then only it will be posted on the application for the appropriate information of traditional knowledge. So this is our plan, and this is our project that we have identified based upon the different types of projects and traditional knowledge as well. When moving towards the different types, different places of Maharashtra, we went to Pune, Mumbai, and Nagara as well, where we have asked the people such as validators who sell their paintings or traditional knowledges, who have traditional knowledge about this application, what they think. We conducted a survey about this application. They find it very useful where they can apply their knowledge, or they can pass on the traditional knowledge to the next generation where it will be useful, as well as the recognition will also be given to this application. Due to the lack of recognition to the people who are having this traditional knowledge, this is limited. So that is also one need which we are going to implement in this, where we can use the fundings across the different types of organization to fund the people who are having the traditional knowledge. For example, marketers who are barely receiving 50 to 100 rupees per day for their traditional knowledge, traditional artworks. So such type of works which will preserve the biodiversity. For example, the use of the fishing tradition in Goa, Konkan, Tamil as well. The calendars which we use for fishing, as well as the net, the size of net which is prescribed in order to preserve the marine life and to sustain the marine life. This is very important to also provide the traditional people some wages so that they can also survive, and the traditional knowledge can also pass on. Because a lot of people are discontinuing the traditional knowledge due to lack of wages they are getting out of. That is another objective of our project in order to sustain the traditional knowledge from. It's also all about our project about the traditional knowledge preservation, and also it is going to definitely help different types of organization people passing on the traditional knowledges. So basically, the database which we will be using this, we are planning to implement it to the different types of organizations, we primarily focusing on the Zoological Survey of India. So they can use different types of data which are provided and verified on this application in order to identify different types of things. For example, there is a place where the local people identifies the pattern, walking pattern, or the different types of engagement pattern of lines in a particular region. Also, the feeding cycle of turtle is being identified by the local communities. Such type of information is very important. On information can also be shared on this application, which is important for the researchers, biologists, zoologists, which can help on the spot. So this is how this application works, and that's how we are planning to preserve the traditional knowledge and utilize it for the betterment of tomorrow, and help it help the people who are having this traditional knowledge, and not just preserving it in the archives, documents, videos, because the youth today is not just limited to the videos archive, because they are more engaged into the technological engagement is more in today's youth. So planning and focus content, we are planning this out. So yes, ma'am. We have checked it on mobile phone also. Just need to catch that data for that. So we just need to add a backend for that. In the prototype as of now, we are working on it now. Looking for that, we need to add the backend database, which should be that. So in the data as well as upload data from not data. So this is just a prototype as of now, where we are and we have already had the technical support. Short term. We are forced to use the technical support for development. So we on ourselves without the technical background, we taken this application. That is why it is marketing global. So we have contacted your members from the different organizations. With idea that whether it will work or not, if somebody wants to scan or see whether it will work on or it will not work on this. Actually, there are already existing applications are there for that which have do the similar work but for the different purposes. Now, based upon that idea, we have created this application. So we have and we have also protected them to understand whether this user interface will work or the backend will be attached properly and it will be help to store the data and to help in the engagement task. So we have contacted the people who work about it and that's how development will work. Technical concept is good, but you have to ensure the authenticity of the data. So people uploading and how you are going to ensure that authenticity. That is also, I think you should if you elaborate on that. I would say that the peer reviewed data will be a concentrated on this application of the data will be reviewed. It's very relevant for us. That's how it is. Okay. For the common people were saying the local people and where the data agrees. We are having the databases, I would say, not just what I call identifications are there. As I said, that we have conducted a survey and we asked people about that, whether they are understanding it. When we started explaining, they understood it. We also take for a demo whether they can do that. Even though we could not upload anything, but they were able to understand what is there. So, Shah. So, Chaitanya and Javi, so congratulations for your important attempt to address this important topic through software-based application. So, I have a few questions. That have you referred any existing databases? Are you aware about the existing databases about the traditional knowledge? Have you explored that? Sir, we have not identified the data. Can you mention one if you have explored? No, sir. Database is we didn't identify the database particularly. Achha. So you haven't explored because in science means I'm just passing on this information because you are a witness and to begin something we must have a kind of review. What are the existing databases available? What are the criteria they have? What are the new things? Because there are existing databases. What new thing you are giving to those databases? Is there any amendment? Is there any novelty? Is there any new thing? In application point of view or referral point of view. So that needs to be really checked into. So I honest request is to let us have first review of existing databases in the traditional knowledge. So that is the key. So that you will understand that in which areas we must contribute. That is the one thing. And I would like to name international ethnobotanical database. That is called as EBDB. That is international ethnobotanical database. So whatever ethnic knowledge, the ऑलरेडी त्याच्यावर आहे तर तुम्ही ते पहिले रिफर करा मग त्याच्यातून तुम्हाला काही इम्पेटस मिळेल देन यू गो फर्दर दॅट इज द ओनली सजेशन आय हॅव आणि ऍक्च्युअली वेन यू गॉट अवेअर अबाउट दॅट यू वुड लाईक टू परस्यू अबाउट दिस प्रोजेक्ट किती स्पॅन मिळाला तुम्हाला काम करायला फिक्स मध्ये तुम्ही टेम्पलेट तयार केले डेटाबेस अजून एंट्री व्हायची अच्छा आणि व्हॉट इज युअर बॅकग्राऊंड MSc forensic science. What about you? Forensic science. JSBM University. Where it is? Wow. Thank you. All the best. Thank you, sir.
Well, your presentation is very nice, but at the outset, actually, I was expecting that you have some data, you have visited some places or gathered. Through your talk, I could get to the Warli painting and all, you are emphasizing on that. In fact, Warli painting is very good, but our theme is, I think, different.
Yes, sir. Actually, I emphasize on Warli painting. Also, we talk about the fisheries.
So, I was expecting rather that you would come out with some data you collected in some area. You identified some spots who are actually having the traditional knowledge of something. I think this is an app, and this kind of things may be available in the market also. Similar, because for a computer science student, it's very easy to change here and there and make it applicable to some other related thing. So I think this is just as a beginning, in a very nascent state. I think so. As you said, that this is just a beginning. But I was expecting that as to justify the theme, the it is somehow not matching with the theme. There is nothing as a suppose I'm a learner. I'm not getting anything out of it about traditional knowledge or something, Maharashtra, Goa, and you could have got some case study done. See, without that, actually, and this is okay. This is a very child job for anybody having some computer knowledge. And I mean, I'm sorry, but as you also know it yourself, that this is just a beginning, and it is not matching with the theory. I was expecting some case study at least of plant or animal or whatever it may be. Because there are thousands of stories available on the net also about internal revenue. It is more pronounced and more popular rather than ecology. Though ecology is also equally important because in villages and all, people use a lot of zoological elements for curing many diseases. It's not only plants, but the animals are also used. So I was expecting, at least we were expecting to justify the theme, case study. So these are the things, some X, Y, Z theme we could have taken, and the area locality. So I think that would have been much better. Because this is just an application. And you are trying to put it, because there are lots of language also in this. There's nothing is coming out of your app that will actually throw more knowledge which is already existing in the market. So anyway, good start. But still you are work it out.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thanks. You referred about Warli painting, right? And how are you trying to connect with what? Why did you bring that Warli painting? As I said that we are spreading the information about the different types of traditional knowledge. Warli painting is one of them. Also, we are working in a place where the soul of this application. How is that Warli painting is protected? Yes, fine one. I am not going to. That's not like most of the like theories and everything. That comes under traditional heritage and culture. So that is protected under GI, right? Geographic indication is a tag for that. So in that aspect, we are expecting something here from the biodiversity. This is controlled by National Biodiversity Acts, where you are trying to safeguard the people who are keeping this knowledge alive, such as the research, the fishing. So there are two problems. One is we need to conserve that technique itself, and we need to respect the community which has carried all the way from there to here. You also should see that it should not be misused. The database you're talking, I don't know. If everybody comes and says we are creating a database, and we should also see that it is not duplicate. And also we should see that that should not be misused. Right? So these are like some of the things that you need to share. In case I am bringing up all these things, in case we are going to tell, we are doing it. We want our people to come over there. Please be aware of it. So mix up the thing. It is the entire the effort of this is to safeguard the communities which have carried forward this generations together. You right? It's not a one person. Yes. Thank you.
One more solution.
Yes, I mean, don't take it to the heart that we are having.
In addition to Dinesh's comment, he said that about the data, there is a we got a biodiversity. In connection with traditional knowledge, IPR issues, intellectual property rights, and other things. So that also needs to be considered. If it is on secondary data, that citation you are going to give there, that is fine. If at all it is a original observation, first-hand information from a tribal community or somewhere, so how you are going to have the biodiversity issue or IPR issues? Because ultimately, as per the what Dinesh sir has said rightly, as per the Biological Diversity Act, there is a provision that there has to be effective benefit sharing to the local tribal communities from where the knowledge is coming. So this thing also needs to be addressed while having such application. So my only suggestion that you first have a proper review and understand the whole logic behind this check, and then slowly you can develop this application. So to do that, you must consult the relevant experts in this particular field. That will help you a long way. Thank you.
In fact, you are emphasizing on partly painting. So in those paintings, you are seeing yourself very partly painting. Yes, sir. So is there anything which is depicted on the paintings? Any biodiversity plants or animals there? Yes, sir. There are different types of plants and animals. Animals are depicted there. So what is the relevance of those particular species with the community or with the environment where they are actually making these paintings? So that because any painting is meaningful, it conveys some message to the masses. So that also has to be recorded because every painting, two paintings are totally different. It can be different. I mean, one painter can make 10 paintings of a similar nature, but the other painter will have a different view of the making a painting. So the biodiversity should feature in your app more than the painting.
Actually, maybe from your presentation, even we got various indicators. So, rather it is a learning experience. So, I could, from your presentation and what sir has rightly pointed out about Wali paintings, that there is a depiction of local biodiversity in that. Probably, sir, one project, what is that? Probably one initiative we can have that across India we have different tribal communities. Like we have Wali, we have Vairas. They have excellent, depiction of local biodiversity. So we can assess the local tribal communities for their paintings and assess the biodiversity which is depicted in their painting, and that would be a very good, you know, the present. And so, such interesting qualities you can develop. So don't lose it is a beginning, and try to embark good things from such presentation. And we really look forward that next time when we see you, that you will come up with a very good app on biology. Huh? Yeah, thank you.
Most of the for painting, what is it? In the look at it. It's utility. And number of
I in addition to this, I want you to answer what are the limitations of the application? Like they have already to consult some experts. Okay. Before that, what were your approaches? Like how you develop and what plan? Is there any limitation for this app?
Yes, already we have not many limitations. As I said, this is just a prototype as of now. Other limitations that I would like to point out from my point of view as I have are like the peer review initiative. The peer review should be, as I said, actually integrate the data should be integrated primarily, where the data will be peer reviewed and only it will be published. Taking in consideration about the IPR, also the beneficiaries of that. That is the major implementation at this level.
need people into it. Should not be caught into any legal wrangle.
Anybody else have any questions?
Very good. Second team is so you need push. You have a partner also with you. Maybe you have the LDC. So please also keep the team keep on. We have followed also. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shakti, and I work with Technology. We basically are a healthcare tech company, but we are an AI first company. So we have been working with the government of India on many initiatives the last few years, especially in the healthcare, but other sectors as well, where AI is an initiative. When I came across this statement, I understood that चैनल सर्विस बोला मुझे पहले से बातें सुनते थी ZSI is a it has become an living fossil. right? But until unless we do something about the time is very near that this living fossil will become a fossil, and we have to do something about it. Like Sir Kunekar sir said that he had a very good experience at a tribal with a tribal chief. He documented it. He took the video. But वो video गया ना. It is with him. That data, that video, that photo is with him. He today got an opportunity to share it with you guys. But is this information available to everybody in India? Everybody who is working in ZSI. Can they do something about this information? No. Because it is with him. It is with you guys. I got to know. Now I'll go and talk to you. But it is not documented. Similarly, in different parts of India, we have seen there are millions of tribal people living. Like in Konkan region, we have the Rapan fish, fishing boats, fishing technique that they do. Whereas they do not use any engine for fishing. They have non-engine specific boats that they use. They handcraft those boats. They use paddles to take it across into the fresh water. They do not use nylon fishing nets to fish so that they do not endanger the fishes, the species there. And this all has been transmitting from generation to generation. Now, these data, people living there, they people who visit there, no, they see, they take a video. Some people put it on Instagram. That's it. End of story. It is not being documented. How many of us know about the Vipya incidents, जो कि पुणे में हुआ last year? Everybody was taking video of the leopard and saying, Vipya disla, Vipya disla. Wouldn't this be used as a tracking system? कि नहीं, अच्छा, we have a system where citizens are reporting the tracking of the wildlife. Which area, which location, because every species, every leopard out there has a tag. So if we are able to join all those together, we will be very easily able to conserve, know and predict the track of these animals, see what are the environmental issues that is causing these animals to leave their habitat and come into the human conflict region. What is happening in these human conflict regions? कुछ लोग डंडे संभालते हैं, कुछ लोग भगा देते हैं. Some people try to scare them away. There are different situations why a leopard would move out of this their actual habitat. Maybe they are pregnant. Maybe there's a food scarcity. Maybe there is a lot of pollutant. Maybe there is no water out there. Maybe the hiding spot that they have, the trees are being cut off. There can be any number of reasons. But all these information are available in silos. हमारे पास इसरो का सैटेलाइट इमेजरी है, हमारे पास IoT डिवाइसेस है, हमारे पास फॉरेस्ट रेंजर्स है, ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज है, हमारे पास सिटीजन्स है, हर किसी के पास मोबाइल है, yet we are not able to connect everything together. So this is my solution for that. I have named it Jeevan Dhara because as the hackathon says that Zoological Survey of India has spent 111 years on this. They have enough data about biodiversity that is there in India. In fact, I saw an article that said that in 2024, ZSI inaugurated a Center for Wildlife Forensics and Conservation Genomics as well. So, काम तो start हो चुका है. 2024 बन गया. What next? Today is the age of AI, and if we think traditional language knowledge, like Sir was saying, we have to preserve. How preserve? Like I was saying that people across the world are using, like Manu said, naming turmeric milk को golden milk बोल के golden milk बोल के बेच रहे हैं लोग. I have heard in Germany जहाँ पे वो लोग साल के पत्तों का प्लेट बना के and they're selling it out as recyclable plates. हाँ. Right. I have बेच रहा है वो. Gucci, Gucci Prada, Italian brands, correct. तो जर्मनी में काउ डंग पे पेटेंट कर लिया उन्होंने, जर्मनी पे काउ यूरिन पे पेटेंट कर लिया. हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? We are ashamed of the knowledge we have, but क्यों है हम लोग ashamed? Because उसको हम डॉक्यूमेंट करके बता नहीं पा रहे हैं. कुछ सालों पहले तक आयुष मिनिस्ट्री की भी सेम सिचुएशन थी. आप बोलिए हम आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं, होम्योपैथी के पास जाते हैं, लोग बोलते हैं क्या खाना कौन ज्यादा है डॉक्टर के पास, but the government stepped in and we added technology into it. और आज आयुष मिनिस्ट्री इज वन ऑफ द बूमिंग मिनिस्ट्रीज आउट देयर. अगर हम टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज ही नहीं करेंगे, all this data is going to go down the drain. Now India possesses two different kinds of biodiversity assets. As per me, I may have done a very limited research, but whatever I have done is this, I have scientific data sets, right? Zoological survey of India के पास sets है, botanical survey of India के पास sets है, then we have forest rangers, we have different sanctuaries, national parks, we have ISRO imagery, we have other satellite imageries out there, IoT devices, NGOs काम करती है इस चीज पे, National Geographic काम करता है, Discovery Channel काम कर रहा है, तो हर किसी के पास कुछ ना कुछ डेटा तो अवेलेबल है. So these are the scientific data sets that are available. Then is centuries old ecological knowledge that is specifically related to communities, related to communities. Now, see that a lot of communities do not want to share their data also because they don't want like certain privacy policies are there. So we have made sure कि हर जो data उनसे लिया जाएगा, every data that is being taken into our system will come with a consent that this particular tribal member or their pradhan or their head is to fill out कि हाँ भाई I give consent for you guys to use my data into the conservation of the society, conservation of the wildlife or biodiversity. Why? Because people will tell them कि आप ये बताओ कि हम आपसे सीखेंगे and then we are going to help it survive. Now many of the tribes we have seen तो soil erosion की वजह से घर चले जाते हैं. They have data कि भाई झाड़ मत काटो, like if you say in mangrove areas, but still they do not convince anybody. Why? Because it's not documented. India's most biodiverse region is the region that we have shortlisted here: Maharashtra, Daman, Diu, and Goa. It has around 9,000 species plus 650 bird species, 149 species, and 1,600 kilometers of coastline. But there are a lot of active threats of as well. We have coastal flooding, sea level rises, human wildlife conflict, and this conflict happens in every village, in every urban area, and also there is a lot of poaching that happens that people don't know of. Then there are, Maharashtra, Daman, Goa has a lot of industries. Regulation के नाम पे तो इतना कुछ होता नहीं है हमारे यहाँ. So industrial pollution is there, effluent is there. If you see in Pune itself, कितना rapid urbanization हो रहा है, कितने rapidly forest को पहाड़ों को काटा जा रहा है. वहाँ के जो habitats हैं, वहाँ के जो animals हैं, जो plant species हैं, उनका कौन is somebody taking in consideration कि यहाँ पे जो plant species हैं, okay we are chopping it off, but हम इनसे कोई sample रख लेते हैं, इसका seed हम collect कर लेते हैं, so that we can create a similar kind of greenhouse or an environment for this kind of plant seed. But world में हुआ, I know that you guys know that Norway or Switzerland में there is a bank of where world के सबसे prominent food seeds को protect किया जा रहा है. हम इंडिया में क्या करते हैं? हम कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे, हम तो चाहे animals को destroy कर रहे हैं. Then AQI degradation is a big factor because if the air quality is bad, birds would not survive, migratory birds would not come. तो कैसे उनका होगा, right? This is a lot of threat here. Now, a lot of you would think about कि भाई हमारे पास तो data ही नहीं है. As I said earlier, the lag is not in the data. We have a lot of data. The lag is in the fragmentation of the data that we have right now. India has the data, like that is I would say they have the biodiversity database. Forest departments run the GPS scholar programs. People provide satellite imagery. AQI monitoring network already set है by the municipal corporations of every area. Flood system already exists करता है. Tribal knowledge already exists करता है. जो main data set हमारे पास missing है वो technology का नहीं है. It is the traditional ecological knowledge जो undocumented और disconnected है. Now our job is to make sure that all these systems that are not talking to each other, make sure that these systems talk to each other. Because if we are able to make sure that everything talks to every part of this, a common database can be built, which will help to build something that will give you a predictable trajectory, that will not solve your problems. That will tell you that this problem is going to arise. It is going to give you a precautionary measure. So why wait for the problem to happen when you can stop it before it happens? Layer 2 here is the wildlife movement and conflict predator. So I just make it concrete very, very immediately with the most urgent problem in this region. As we know, in Maharashtra, Goa, and Tamil Nadu, one of the major problems is earlier is the wildlife human. This is as per me, and please forgive me if I am wrong here. But this is my thinking. So the main problem I figured is the human and the wildlife conflict that we have. Now here you will be able to see that I have shown you three different panels here. The input panel, that is the GPS telemetry data that comes from the existing forest department follow programs and the ZSI field network. This input data at the back end will also be rechecking continuously with the data that we have already achieved from the tribal regions. Based on, for example, if I say a very experienced, say 20-25 year experienced guy from a National Geographic channel would be able to identify the footprints of a tiger, and based on the basis of the depth of the footprints on the wet mud, will be able to analyze that whether this tiger is pregnant or not. Similar kind of knowledge our tribal people also have, but again, not documented. So the background of this is the tribal knowledge and the traditional knowledge digital library that is being taken care of by the Department of Ayush. That database, these two both databases will be the backbone of this system. Now, any of the hardware, no need to own. The hardware already exists. You are just going to connect to it. Processing here is the G AI. Now, this AI is going to do the corridor analysis, migration heat maps. It identifies any disruption point, any seasonal movement patterns across the forest corridors. What would be the output? The output would be proactive. Let's say I have taken an example of a leopard because it was very famous last year. So the output would be a proactive leopard alert. The ZSI conflict warning generated with the AI driven mitigation recommendation. This is the output that I am looking. Now, as I told earlier, number one, there are what will is the intelligence system. Number one is the tribal indicator. Communities detect early monsoon patterns weeks before any instrument. How many of you agree that the meteorological department, the mobile notifications that you get about the rainfall, how many times has it been correct? But if you ask any tribal person, when would monsoon start? With around 90 to 97% accuracy, the elders of those communities will be able to tell you that monsoon will start from so and so day. And with those precision, they plant crops, they take care of their cattle, they plant seeds, they do everything. Why not put it as a background? Then fishing calendars, as I told you about the urban fishery. There are fishing calendars being maintained throughout the Konkan region, Goa region, Daman region, where these people know that which fishes to pick in which region. When is the breeding season of these fishes? What quantity of fishes should we do fishing? What kind of nets to use? Some fishes are very delicate, some fishes are big, they need nylon nets, some fishes need jute nets. So these kind of knowledge already exists, but again, no data. Then there are migration signs of different wildlife animals. What time do they move throughout the year? What are the reasons they move? Then plant phenology. What are the flowering and fruiting cycles used? This all will form the intelligence layer. Now, this is the same wildlife conflict model that I showed you, but this is at a very larger scale. So, as I told you, the input panel is here, external hardware and is owned and operated by the forest department, and output is this again. Now, this is the environmental API integration. The previous one and this one, there is a difference here. Now, you see, all here are the environmental risks that are being taken into consideration. Flood risk, API intelligence risk, coastal watch. Now, the government already has things measurements in place for all of these things. There are citizens, there are citizens who are also taking, who also track these things. There are enthusiasts who track cyclones. There are enthusiasts who track whirlpools. There are people who love going into the sea with the measurement also to see what. So all these people put their data. Is it officially being documented? No, but the data is there because they trust the fishermen. We trust the fishermen. We don't, because otherwise, if we would have trusted the police to know about the fishery that they do, we would have documented it, but we haven't. But now it is high time that that will make everything work. Tribal migration sites plus the existing GPS telemetry data plus real-time flood areas is just an example that I've taken into consideration. Maybe digital. No, what exactly is a digital? Now, for example, you have taken a very small sample area and you say that, okay, there's all these data I have with me, but there is certain kinds of experiment I want to do and see what will happen. Let's say 10 years down the line, 50 years down the line. See, I am not going to be alive. Some researchers who started the research is not going to be alive then. Not to know what will they want to run a simulation to see what will happen 10 years, 20 years down the line. How to do it? Would be generated digital data of that simple area. With all the biodiversity that is there, all the plant species that is there, all the tribal knowledge that we have collected with their consent, and we create a digital. This digital thing will give you complete freedom to whatever you want. Now, you can increase the AQL level and see what is the impact in the next 5 years. You can increase the water levels and see what is the impact in the next 10 years. You can see, let's say, you want to take a decision that we want to migrate, say, 10 tigers from Gujarat to Maharashtra. How will this impact the biodiversity of that national park? You will be able to simulate it. So all these things will help you to take a very calculated risk. Now, along with this, we will see we'll have climate impact simulation, species range shifts, we'll have mangrove loss projection, and before and after comparison. This is a very small showcase of what the POC looks like. I'll just show you what exactly it is. I have a prototype with me, so if it's not visible here, I will be able to show you after. So basically, what this prototype does is I've created different regions, different input points for different departments, different people, different stakeholders. Now, the stakeholders are the tribal community, the citizen, the policymakers, and the decision makers. So, this is not something that will only show you what to do. You will also have an option to trigger actions from this control panel here. Because if you have the data and you're not able to implement anything on do anything, then all that data it will be just another dashboard. ऐसे तो हजारों डैशबोर्ड बने हुए हैं. अगर वहां से कोई एक्शन ही नहीं ट्रिगर हो रहा है, if you're not able to track anything, if you're not able to see data live कि क्या changes हो रहा है, otherwise this dashboard is just useless as any other previous dashboard that has been used. Now you will be able to see. So you will be able to see all these overlays here, wildlife movements, flutters, zone, API monitoring, everything. And what I've done here is I have added, I've just taken the sample base and I have added all the national parks and sanctuaries that are there in Maharashtra, Goa, and Daman for this experiment. And I have mapped it on here. So if there is any moment, I will be able to, and there is no connected to Google. So if there is any news out there, because obviously I don't have the information from the forest ranges and all those things, so I have to get up some data here. So I'm connected to Google. So if there is any update of Google regarding any movement of any animal out there, it is going to change in a map. And from this map, the policymakers or the district leader will be able to trigger an action point. Say, okay, dispatch forest rangers, or let me trigger an information that this the head of this tribal community or this community, oh, there is an animal coming here. There is an elephant that is coming here. Please empty that zone or go to some other area. Whether this is a high risk, low risk, will be talking about. So this is one platform with 5 different lenses. Okay. One of the capabilities that is most related and relevant to the policy, where I'm very excited about, because as you can see, the raw ecological data is being fed into this tool. And we have citizens, NGOs, policymakers, researchers, forest department, everybody who is being informed from a single system. And this is not a one-sided approach. It is not that data आ रहा है सबको किया जाता है. एक तरफ से भी data आएगा and it is being fed into this one single system. Okay? And everything is being this LLM. This is a single one sending LLM. That is not a Gemini LLM or a ChatGPT. This LLM is designed for this problem only. Obviously, it will take some time. It will take only LLM आपको थोड़ा बनाओगे, उसको 6 महीने से 1 साल का data control होने का it will be trained based on what information you want. For a LLM that will be built for this particular problem. So there will be hallucination in this. There will be no fake data कि वो कहीं और दूसरे देश का डेटा लेके ChatGPT से Google से लेके उसको कन्वर्ट कर रहा है. जो भी डेटा इसको दिया जाएगा from the traditional knowledge digital library of the government of India and the tribal communities and the forest department researchers, policymakers, and उसको जैसे जैसे train करते जाएंगे, it will become your assistant. So this is how the architecture basically looks like. It's just a plug and play architecture. इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है that you have to get new instruments on the field, you have to spend those on to get it done. It's just plug and play. Field से forest department से GPS solar से IoT nodes से mobile phone से हर जगह से you are going to get data, right? Live tracking. चाहे यहाँ पे क्या है? Cloud synchronization and organizing. हमने देखा है कि forest के अंदर when you go to, let's say, Tadoba or you go to Page, you see there is no network of connectivity. So, जो forest rangers वहाँ पे घूम रहे हैं, people who are actually tracking, humans से कि तो फिर कैसे करेंगे? Everything is cloud. But this system will allow the forest rangers to capture everything they want to capture in any languages they want to use. It will be available in 18 different languages. It will have an option to only speak. Because जंगल में कोई अगर कुछ capture करते हैं, there's a different species of bird that they want to capture. I don't know whether this person is going to take a video or take a picture, and the system is going to capture it. Yes, later on, if possible, the ranger or the person or a citizen will be able to label it if that is possible. Available in 18 different languages. Speak first, voice first system, not typing, voice first system. Now the centralized intelligence dashboard will be working on this with the tribal village. next step would be the evolution of the conservation, right? So here you will see that the traditional conservation system that we already have is very reactive. मतलब कुछ हो जाता है तो we react. Flood आ गया पता चला तो पानी घर आ गया we react. झाड़ कट गया we react. Animals have come out of their habitat we react. Right? Tribal wisdom it is undocumented like Sir said. Sir जब उस एरिया में गए तब उनको पता चला that there are fishermen who are using leads to catch fishes. But now once it's out, lost. The data is lost. So everything is based on outdated static reports. Now that report that is just on board is now static. There is nobody out there who has been recording it on a regular basis. Maybe it is just the data of that one fisherman. Maybe it's not the knowledge of the whole community, but that is lost. Here, which is AI, what I am suggesting is a unified real-time ecological database with a 74-hour predictive risk and possible alerts. This will have a driver indicator digitally preserved and AI-driven policy utilizing the live system. So it's not reactive; it would be predictive. So
How many slides are there?
I'll be quick, sir. Sorry. So we start in Maharashtra, Goa, Daman and Diu, but the architecture is national by design. So if you see, all of these data is available throughout India. What kind of national network do we already have, right? What kind of carbon intelligence do we already have, right? How, if all these information are already available throughout India, and we deployed to all the 18 biodiversity hotspots in across the Indian states. ISRO data is available on an all India level. Marine intelligence available. Forecasting obviously will be based on the data that you guys give. Every one of these relies on the data that already exists in the India's conservation system. Protecting biodiversity requires a connecting ecosystem intelligence and communities. And at the end of it, I think that is what I was trying to portray what Dhara AI is basically does. Is my aim is not to replace anybody. My aim is to collect as much information as I can, and I know that humans cannot be available at every point, at every place. But it is our responsibility at being the top of the food chain to protect everybody who is out there. So, Chidara AI is going to be that helping hand that will predict, analyze, and help the system to protect the citizens. Thank you. Sorry, Karan, Lambao.
Well, congratulations. Very nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
But one thing I found as a traditional zoologist, I didn't find any traditional area. Because actually, our aim of having this hackathon was, is there any recorded traditional knowledge on biodiversity, whether plants or animals? If not, what can we do? This is a pan-India application. Okay, so the traditional knowledges differ from area to area.
Yes.
Their ways are different, means are different. So it doesn't fit into one.
Sir, I would like to disagree with you here.
Okay.
With full due respect.
Sure.
Right. If we are able to patch test it on a small tribal community, right, and if it works, because it can be replicated.
Yes, I agree. But then you may have to add some factors in that because communities are different, their cultures are different, their traditions are different. So you can go adding parameters and all.
As I said, sir, because it's a pure LLM, so it learns from the data.
See, in fact, actually, it is your presentation is around animal migration content. Your concentration was on forest ecosystem as such. But when umbrella observation, what I got.
Yes.
But then your study cannot be restricted to forest only. So out of forest also there is a knowledge, there is a tradition. There are people who keep their traditions, which need to be passed on to the next generation. That has not been covered. I'm sorry, but
No, that's not. Absolutely.
and in one go it cannot be covered. That is also true because if you work a little bit more on this, maybe this model can work for. I mean, the things which are not covered yet can be covered.
Yes, there's always hope for
Yes, exactly. Not so.
Yes, yes.
So,
This is just a first glance of this is
no, it's okay.
what and how I
See, in fact, but your concentration or the focus was more onto the animal movement.
Yes.
Because since you went in Pune and you were scared of leopard and all, but then actually we cannot predict animals. They are most highly unpredictable. So why they are coming to city and all, there are no factors that has been established. But nobody wants to implement them and all. See the overpopulation of leopards. What are they to do? They will come out of their tails and all. So are you going to actually blame nights? So, but anyway, good, nice. This is a predictive.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I mean, good one. Thank you.
Again, presentation is good. Thank you. I have some data. Again, I think it's not coping with how traditional knowledge is going to be integrated. It is again like the database or something where we get all the information.
This data, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I am assuming that not data. Because the data is also about हमने काम किया और देना नहीं चाहिए. But there are people who are working, NGOs are there, who are there, who will be able to like
So data like आप इसमें calculator में automatically ये graph करेगा.
now the internet is available automatically वो graph करेगा उसको verify करेगा.
So how you are going to verify one to one? Because every day, like others, I also used to see what is going to be on the YouTube and the said. I think 95% the authenticity is not there in the data. So what is your filter you are going to use?
We are connected with that. जो simulation engine है जो simulate करके दिखाएंगे data connected है.
Or if you have a question, it's maybe or I'm not a person from this field technical. I don't have the knowledge of technicality. But again, I have a question. Other than create some data or AI, AI is going to learn what is data is. That it is very mindlessly manually filtered, very data filtered. Even some AI is going to be that is what I feel. That will be create some other problem. And how do we really
So we have 7 stakeholders here that we have imagined here. Number is, let's say, the ZSI will have data, researchers will have the access, citizen portal will be there where they can, and there is very exciting because I was focusing on that.
कोई तो amateur other system हो गए अगर ये public platform पे it would not be available there.
See, सबको मिलेगा. Every stakeholder. जैसे कि if I give you an example, I'll give you an example. Now, let's say you have Facebook account, right? Facebook is a centralized system. Right? You have your username and password. You log in, you see different things. So, login, you see different things, right? So, to log in, you see something different. So, the algorithm learns basis on what you practice, what you have done in the past. Similarly, there would be a citizen portal where they will be only able to add sightings. Yeah, it will be like the game if like Pokemon Go. Now, people are very interested in learning, catching the virtual animals. But if people are simultaneously very interested in knowing jungle में से ये कौन सा झाड़ है, ये कौन सा फूल है, they will be able to do that, and that data can be achieved through this. उनको कुछ और देखेगा, policy makers को कुछ और देखेगा, जो researchers, they will be able to see something else. So it will be designed accordingly. Exam of the exam. 1 year will make it will be ready to use. Obviously, it will learn in 1 year, but it will be ready. Yes, yes, life.
Sayoni Bush.
For no reason, sir. Unfortunately.
हाँ, मुझे मालूम नहीं है, वो मुझे मालूम नहीं है। साहिल घोष, हमने देखा आपका घोष। तो सुबुह ज्ञान और चेतना कुछ का जो अर्थ रहता है, तो एक लाइन मैंने यहाँ यूज किया है। तो बहुत बढ़िया प्रयास आपने किया है, जो एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड जॉब करनी जा रही है। लेकिन फिलहाल जो सेंट्रल डोगमा ऑफ टुडेज हैकाथॉन इज ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज, और वो ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज का हम कैसे प्रेजेंटेशन करें विद द हेल्प ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, एआई, ये सेंट्रल डोगमा है। तो आपने काफी अच्छा प्रयास किया है। मुझे सिर्फ यही बात आपसे कहनी है कि एक और दो केस स्टडीज आप लेके आती, और नहीं देखिए टाइम लिमिटेड है, आपने इतना बढ़िया काम किया है प्रेजेंटेशन के ऊपर, एक और दो केस स्टडी भी आप लेती और उसको यहाँ डिपिक करती। हाँ, तो मेरी आपको सलाह है कि आप उसके ऊपर ज्यादा दूर करें और वो आगे जाके वो उसका सरवा आपके प्रेजेंटेशन में हो। और दूसरे
data which you are collecting is basically completely a system. Show something that yes, I have done this from this area. This is a knowledge in the system. This is it. The tribal, you're not a tribal tribal. Everybody in that area is a tribal. Because whoever occupies that area, he is a part of that tribal. So, because we thought of today that getting someone to come out and yes, from say Marvel or Lonavala or maybe okay. So if you are going to say Sundarbans and collected some data, probably would have appreciated even for Calcutta also in Pune city, because our theme actually it should be justified. Yeah. Anyway, these things are going to be implemented. What about this? Nothing goes best.
तो मैं आपको एक सुझाव देना चाहता हूँ। देखिए, आपने with different attributes that you have used in the application, brilliant. लेकिन आप एक केस स्टडी लेके आइए। मैं आपको एक केस स्टडी एक सुझाव देना चाहता हूँ। Let us take an example of मेघदूत। हाँ, एक काव्य है। कालिदास, आप मालूम है? तो कालिदास के ऊपर जो मेघदूत का काव्य है, वो आप एक केस स्टडी लीजिए और उसको आपके सॉफ्टवेयर में डाल दीजिए। हाँ, आज से काम चल कीजिए। तो मेघदूत में देखिए, उसमें क्लाइमेट के ऊपर बात हुई है, के ऊपर फाउना के ऊपर है, फ्लोरा के ऊपर है। How the monsoon moves and how the ecosystem also changes accordingly in different habitat. क्या-क्या आ गया है? ये जो ट्रेडिशनल हमारी एक काव्य है, उसको आप एप्लीकेशन में डाल के देखिए। हाँ, और हाँ कीजिए। और दूसरा ये कि मॉडर्न एनालॉग जो कालिदास ने लिखा है, तो मॉडर्न एनालॉग में क्या-क्या होता है? I will connect you with some of the people who are already working on project Meghdut. Like Mitra है, he is following the monsoon. हाँ, और मैं उसके biodiversity aspect को उसको support कर रहा हूँ। मानसून जैसे मूव होता है तो क्या-क्या biodiversity में changes आते हैं? traditionally how people look into this. जैसे आपने कहा कि कुछ farmers prediction करते हैं, आपने कहा कि जो हमारा meteorological department, they may go wrong, but tribals they have 95-97% proper prediction. तो उनके जो ऑब्जर्वेशन है, आप एक केस स्टडी लीजिए और उसके ऊपर काम कीजिए और ये सिर्फ एप्लीकेशन में डाल दीजिए, दैट विल हेल्प इन लॉन्ग वे। तो दूसरा है कि अभी कौवे का एग्जांपल मैं आपको देता हूँ कि कौवा कितने हाइट पे वो नेस्ट करता है, क्या क्या इंग्रेडिएंट्स यूज करता है, दैट डिपेंड्स मानसून कितना हो रहा है, कितना होगा, कब होगा, ये सब चीजें उसमें ये है। आप गांव में लोगों से बात करोगे तो आपको समझ में आएगा। देन यू कैन पुट रिलेटेड मैट्रिक्स कि कितना हाइट है, क्या है, व्हाट आर द इंग्रेडिएंट्स, उसके ऊपर काम कीजिए। तो मुझे लगता है कि आपका एप्लीकेशन तो अच्छा है, लेकिन थोड़ा आपको लोगों के पास जाना चाहिए। क्या है कि ये सब इमेजिनरी लैब, क्या आप इमेजिन कर रही है कि आपने वो मूवी देखा कौन सा वो अवतार, इमेजिनरी है। एक्चुअली क्या क्या होना चाहिए, तो आप जब लोगों के पास जाओगे, समझ लोगे, देन यू पुट दैट डेटा। तो मेरी राय है कि आप लोगों से बात कीजिए। हाँ,
take a joke and give you traditional knowledge of it. In our childhood, even today also, I'm from a very small village in Marathwada. So when the monsoon is arriving or it is yet to come, so there is one mite, red velvet mite. We used to collect that mite in our childhood. It's very pretty. I mean, beautiful mite, red color and velvety color. I mean, its body is velvety. So when we see that mite in the soil, it means the monsoon is certainly coming. For example, I am an entomologist. I have written one big article in Marathi. How insects can be indicative of event. Example, have you seen wasp, mud wasp? That wasp makes houses in any corner of your house. So traditionally, it is taken that when it makes mud houses in your house, it means there is some arrival of some child. Someone in that family is as a pregnant already or is going to. I mean something like that. I mean there are n number of stories. So that is traditional knowledge. We expected where we get something of this kind from the participant. But anyway, I mean, you are. So I mean, we learned, at least I personally learned that you are concentrating on because you are from Calcutta and all, and you visited Sudan. So you are focused on mostly on the movement of.
I wanted to work on something that I've already seen at Zoological
Conflict is a very good concept. होते रहते हैं stages लेकिन आपकी किस तरह से वो ट्रिगर होता है because of the people able to take it and तो हम लोग में आप देखिए और population बढ़ रहा है because they are sugar and feeds traditional ये नहीं traditional क्या ये आगे में क्या करते हैं ये भी तो साइंस क्या है
बोला
यदि जनरल की बातें कितनी है तो आप मुझे या अंदर का जनरल वाचन जो रहता है उससे बढ़िया रहता है आपको उससे करनी
Either do the develop only.
Yes, yes, yes. I think
traditional but the presentation point of biodiversity conservation and wildlife conflicts. Many of your statements are questions, many of the statements are answers. You said data is very difficult, right? See, that is the value of traditional knowledge. A philosophical and technical simple statements. We have everything to fulfill our needs, but not the needs. So traditional knowledge is all about the needs. That is why people don't dare to share the data. I'm from Western countries. I do anything. I don't want to share anything because I'm scared about the greed. So that component is the crucial thing in connecting these two things. One is conservation, biodiversity, traditional knowledge, and the oral tradition. Because I'm telling you, if you have time, please Google up and see the case study of Arogya Pacha.
Arogya Pacha.
Arogya Pacha. 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 That is an eye opener because we all read newspaper and we get carried away by newspaper information. But for me, it's a tragic like situation because a tribal person who exposed that to the scientific community committed suicide 2 years ago. Traditional knowledge is more connected to the belief. That's a very sensitive, but you said data will not data is not like any other thing.
Yes, sir. They are very reluctant to give because
Many things I can take information. See, India is has put a lot of athletes into the and there are scientists in the country. But why we are not giving like why it is not like it is different thing that we can't support it. In person I can tell you. But in the forum we cannot tell if Indian people are not reading it properly. Why that we can't discuss it. But I can tell you like that traditional knowledge is very sensitive.
Yes.
So that need to be taken in a very different way. But like your statements of like I'm
yes,
because we are also like as I said, I know many issues that we always try to safeguard it. We believe nature is for right?
yes,
Because traditional knowledge is more of nature. Is people believe.
yes. Yes.
Like there is report about prettiness. I'm much worried about fairness. Like with this app, if you went to public, if you like leopards are around us.
No, the tracking cannot be visible to citizens. It's just a recording medium for the citizens.
Sometimes when you are developing,
It is like, for example, if I can dilute it a bit, it's like Instagram. Okay, you take a picture, you upload it, and you say, "आज देखो मैंने ये देखा." इस देखा ये कितना बड़ा झाड़ देखा मैंने, कहाँ पे GPS location tag. So what other people are posting is not an open Instagram channel. You post, that data will come into a conservation, and then the system will run in the background. You post. Because there are a lot of people that I have seen, I know, who love taking pictures, who love collecting images like Sir himself. He took the video, he took the photo. There are a lot of people who love it, but then who moment it gets lost. That was the thing. Any other question? Thank you very much, everyone.
I was to and the for the jury, I would like to inform that there are 9 teams of individuals who confirm for participation. However, we could only see 3 teams today. Out of these 2 teams already made their presentation. The third team, only one person has come and see mental. I will just had a telephonic conversation with her, and apparently due to some medical emergency, doctor has asked her for bed rest, not to move. So she will not able to come. And the participant was now, she doesn't want to, like, she's not well conversed with the topic, so she doesn't want to be present. So in this situation, sir, we definitely cannot consider her as a participant in this. Can you stand up, please? Come. Who is not present? So आप कुछ present कर पाएंगे नहीं सर? Okay, madam.
Topic one. Okay.
She is just. So I think decision on that based on the participant represented. Break for lunch now, sir. And after lunch again together, and we make an announcement of this comes from the jury. And also, thank you for the break for lunch. We don't